Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ma Yuan, and I'm excited to kick off our group presentation on outcome-based curriculum analysis. Our team has worked a lot to bring you a comprehensive overview, and this presentation divided into 6 key parts, so each shedding light on different aspects of our topic. I hope you find our insights engaging and informative. So let's get started now, and I'll be the first one to introduce some definition of OBE, OBC, and the implementation of OBC in higher education institutions. So in this slide, you can see a simple formula. No OBE equals to no accreditation. So how can we understand this? Let's say students wants to be engineer in Malaysia. So in terms of this, accreditation is an evaluation process of engineering program offered by universities in order to ensure the program will produce engineers with the right qualities. And only graduates from accredited programs can register with the Board of Engineers and practice as professional engineers. To maintain accreditation, we have to continuously maintain and improve our quality. One way is to use outcome-based education. So what is outcome-based education? The education system that focus or emphasize on the development and achievement of students' outcomes. The outcomes can be students' ability, behavior, attitude, attributes, or values and qualities. So what students can do and quality students should have. And in terms of curriculum in higher education, the term curriculum in higher education refers to a range of concepts, including syllabus, product, process, and practice, which have been studied for decades in curriculum studies. These concepts help examine the aims, knowledge, learning, growth, and overall purpose of curriculum. And speaking of the role of curriculum in higher education institutions, curriculum plays a crucial role in higher education as it shapes the learning experiences and outcomes of students. It influences the development and knowledge and skills and prepares students for their future careers and roles in society. So the first is that it serves as a framework for organizing and delivering educational content, ensuring that students receive a comprehensive and coherent education. The other one is it acts as a means of social control, as it can incorporate initiatives such as generic skills, internationalization, entrepreneurship, sustainability, and inclusion, which are considered valuable for all students, and as engagement, where students actively engage in the process of coming to know curriculum can have a transformative impact on students, universities, and society as a whole. The last one is as different approaches, such as syllabus or praxis, it can either hinder or facilitate the process. And these are the implementation in higher education in higher education institutions. So Australia and South Africa adopted OBE policies in the early 1990s, but have since been phased out. And in 2005, Hong Kong adopted an outcome-based approach for its universities. Malaysia implemented OBE in all of their public school systems in 2008. And in an international effort to accept OBE, The Washington Accord was created in 1989. It is an agreement to accept graduate in engineering degrees that were obtained using OBE methods. So all of these outcome-based methods have been adopted in education system around the whole world and at multiple levels. In terms of application of OBC in higher education institutions, the application of outcome-based curriculum in higher education institutions is important for enhancing students' learning and preparing them for the challenges of global economy. OBC focuses on developing competencies and skills that are relevant to the needs of the industry and society. Higher education institutions in Kenya are preparing for the implementation of a competency-based curriculum, which includes training academic staff and ensuring the availability of teaching and learning resources. Another example is active learning classrooms. So are being adopted by academic units to support collaborative learning, but it has some cultural obstacles and lack of institutional support, and this wider the adoption. And other examples like the design and implementation of learning spaces such as active learning centers can significantly influence faculty's teaching practices and students' engagement. The use of design thinking curriculum in higher education, particularly in information technology and computer science professionals. So overall, the application of OBC in higher education institutions is crucial for preparing students for the demands of the global economy and promoting effective teaching and learning practices. So let's have a summary of the whole first part. Outcome-based curriculum is applied in higher education institutions to transform traditional teacher-centered education into a student-centered outcome-based educational system. So OBC focuses on setting learning outcomes, measuring and evaluating learning results, and improving the curriculum. It involves aligning program learning outcomes with course learning outcomes to ensure that students achieve the desired outcomes. The implementation of OBC requires the development of a well-prepared and purposeful curriculum that encourages expertise acquisition. It also involves the use of effective teaching methods such as multi-dimensional topics, multi-channel display, and multi-level assessment to enhance teaching quality and student engagement. So OBC is important in the whole higher education institutions as it helps improve academic performance, increase teaching effectiveness, and ensure education equality. So it also assists in meeting institutional objectives and accreditation standards and prepares graduates to compete globally. So I'll hand it over to my next teammates.
Hi everyone. All right, now I would like to introduce the outcome-based curriculum, including its concept, the features, also take a comparison between OBC and traditional curriculum. So what is OBC? I'll show you the concept of outcome-based curriculum. The outcome-based curriculum is a method of curriculum design and implementation, which is to clearly define the expected outcomes of learning and to design and organize the educational activities based on results. So this approach emphasizes that students should achieve a specific level of knowledge, skills, and abilities by the end of the course. So, what is the features of the outcome-based curriculum? I said 5 features here. Number one, we need clear learning goals and outcomes. It requires that the learning objectives and the expected outcomes be clearly defined early in the course design process. Then the emphasis is placed on the assessment of the student's comprehensive ability, not just memorization and understanding of knowledge. It covers the projects, the practical experience, also the other ways of reflecting a student's overall abilities. Number three is about the flexibility and adaptability. OBC is more flexible and able to adapt to students' needs and changing social contexts. It emphasizes the constant adjustment and improvement of curriculum to ensure that they remain relevant to the needs of students and society. Number four, OBC advocates the application of learned knowledge to real-world situations, emphasizing the practical problem-solving and hands-on experience. Last one is about the OBC encourages students to participate in the process of curriculum design and emphasize students' self-directed learning and self-development. Alright, so now I've already introduced the concept, also the features of curriculum design. Now let's take a look to comparison of the outcome-based curriculum, also the traditional curriculum. Okay, the number one, they have the different focus. About OBC, the primary focus is on the outcome of learning. It clearly defines the specific goals and skills that students should have, focusing on the developing the practical application ability. While the traditional curriculum design, it typically focuses on the teaching specific knowledge and content. While students' learning success is primarily measured by how well they remember and understand what is taught. Number two, learning activities and assessment. The OBC activities are to achieve the clear learning outcomes, and the assessment methods often include diverse forms such as projects, hands-on experiments, and tests. Traditional curriculum design usually based on the traditional classroom teaching and book knowledge, and assessment is mainly based on the exams and tests. Number three is about the flexibility. OBC is generally more flexible and able to adapt to students' needs and teaching social contexts. Traditional course design can be relatively rigid, based on the fixed course structure and content, and it's not easy to adapt to the change. Next one is about students' participation and self-directed learning. The OBC encourages students' participation in the course design and the learning process. It emphasizes students' self-directed learning and self-management. While the traditional methods may be more focused on the teacher's teaching, the role of students relatively passive. Pay attention to receiving the informations. Next one is about the method of course design. OBC adopts a course design approach based on the learning objectives. First, we should identify the goals of students should achieve, and then we should design the corresponding learning activities. Well, traditional methods may be more inclined to organize the curriculum according to the textbook or the teacher's professional knowledge, emphasizing the transfer of the knowledge. So this is all about part 2, the concept, the features, also the difference between outcome-based curriculum and the traditional curriculum. Now let's move to part 3. I will introduce the process of the OBC design as well as the OBC analysis. So how can we design the outcome-based curriculum? I said 4 steps here. Number 1, we should clearly define the learning objectives. Identify the core objectives of the course. Also, clarify the knowledge, skills, abilities that students should have at the end of the course. Also, the goals should be measurable, specific, and achievable, and reflect to the core concept of the particular domains. Number 2, design the learning objectives according to the learning goals and the result. This may include classroom teaching, experiments, the project work, and internships. Number 3, we should determine the evaluation methods. This may take the forms of exams, projects, practical experience, aptitude tests. Ensure that assessment methods are aligned with learning objectives and outcomes. Also, we should provide comprehensive feedback. Okay, all right, next one is about the integrated practical application. The emphasis is placed on the practical application of learning, ensuring that students are able to apply their acquired knowledge and skills to the real problem solving and practical experience. Promote links with the real industries, professional areas, so that students can better understand and adapt to the real challenges. This ensures that the curriculum is aligned with the needs of students and the changes in society. How about the OBC analysis? First, we should define the objectives of this course and collect the course materials. It may include the relevant lesson plans, the teaching materials. Also need the evaluation. We should evaluate the teaching methods and strategies. Evaluate whether currently employed the teaching methods and the strategies match learning objectives. Analyze the learning activities to make sure they contribute to the achieving learning goals. Examine the assessment method to ensure that they accurately measure students' learning objectives. And we need the inspection of resource utilization. Examines the use of the resource to ensure that they are effectively supporting the implementation of the curriculum. Also focus on the students' participation and feedback. Look at the level of students' participation and feedback to understand how students feel about this course. Also, we need improvement action. We should make an improvement action, specify the direction, specify the timetable for change, then to implement. And continuous monitoring, evaluation, and periodic review. Continuously monitor the effectiveness of the improvements and adjust based on the feedback. Also, courses are regularly reviewed to ensure that they continue meet the needs of students and industries. So that's all about the part 2 and Part 3. Thanks for listening. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, thanks for my partner's introduction, and next I will continue to tell you the example of OBC. So before starting, I want to tell you the presentation styles. If you take the class CNI 5007 curriculum inquiry, yesterday I have did a presentation because I think the presentation when I finish the presentation, I think it is very suitable for all the students because there are many students from different races and countries. They have English students and Malay students and Chinese students. So when we finish the presentation, finish the class, I ask my classmates or students, do you understand our topic today? Do you understand the presentation? Do you understand our class topic? And the classmates told me, no, sorry, I'm so sorry. I can't understand the topic. I can't understand the presentation today. I can't understand our class today because my English is not good. It's very poor. Yes, I think so. My English is not very good. So some doctor or some students ask me, you are international students. You cannot use Chinese. You have to use English to do a research, to do a presentation, to do anything. Yes, I think so. But sometimes I want to say English cannot be a problem for us to learn knowledge, any knowledge or anything. So this semester I have the statistic class and think the statistic teacher, doctor, is a very excellent teacher because when she taught some very difficult concept, very difficult problems, they always first use English, tell us the problem or the concept, and then they will use Malay language to tell the Malay students what is the problem, what is the concept. And the Malay students, it smell. Yes, I can understand. I can understand the statistic concept or the problem. Oh, oh my God. Sometimes I think the teacher or the doctor can speak Chinese, so I think my statistic ability is very good. I can get more statistic knowledge from the class. So it is quite important. I prepare the three languages, the English, Malay language, and Chinese. If you think the English is very good, you can say the English. If you think the Malay language is suitable for you, you can read the Malay language. But I'm so sorry, I can't understand the Malay language. I just used Google Translation to translate the English to Malay language. If you have any question, any problem, please tell me. And if you are a Chinese student, you can read the Chinese because the Chinese is very meaningful to you to understand my example. Okay, so the first one is you can better understand my example because there are many example sentences, no very difficult concepts, and have three languages, English, Malay language, and Chinese. Okay, let's go. So the first, I will use Peking University as my example because the Peking University is the most famous in China or the world. It is very famous and excellent university in China, like the Malaysia's UPM, UPM, and USM. It is very famous. Okay, so in the form of undergraduate education at Peking University, according to the introduce of training plans, Peking University changed all the education plans and policy of undergraduates in 2020. The new plans show that Peking University will put role of students at the center, which is a new training excellent students plans and educational policy for the university. This plan is policy conform to higher education and educational objectives of Peking University. The specific design process is as following. You can that the first one is English, and the second one is Malay language, and the third one is Chinese. You can choose based on yourself to choose the language. Okay, and then the number one is clarify learning goals. Picking university according to the training plans of development of age and the international first-class professional to clarify the knowledge, abilities, and the quality students should have for the undergraduates. It clearly points out that the logical relationship between professional lessons and other learning models and strengthen the logical and hierarchy of system of specific course. It can show that the features and advantages of these courses. And number two, plan task. Plan tasks for learning. Peak University has created many professional elective course units. The goal of the solo effective class is to help students learn cross disciplines. At the same time, students are able to work on projects on their own, like college scientific study, creativity, and business, and so on. This helps them develop their moral, intellectual, physical, artistic, and physical skills and the whole. In addition, Peking University has set up an honor bachelor's degree system. This system is based on creating advanced honors classes that help students find their hobbies, grow as people, and learn more deeply. And then choose the way of measurement. Peking University uses a variety of evaluation methods, such as course evaluation, academic levels test, academic quality monitoring, and more to get a full picture of what students have learned, encourage them to evaluate and improve themselves, and rise the quality and effectiveness of teaching. And number four includes real-world uses. Through practical teaching, social practice, international exchanges, job consulting, and other activities, Peking University combines what students learn with what they can do in the real world. This helps students develop their creativity, leadership, teamwork, communication, social responsibility, and other skills that will help them in the future and set them up for success. So just I talked about the example just for the whole education, whole university, Peking University, about the whole university. So the next I will use the specific example to tell you the OBC. Okay, to show this, I will use Peking University's English for Science and Technology class. This is the professional English class for engineering and science students. The goal is to improve their reading, writing, and translating skills in scientific English, as well as their cultural awareness of science and technology. The exact steps of the planning process are this. The step one, make learning goals clear. This core explains the scientific English skills, information, and traits that students should have based on Peking University educational goals and the career needs of science and engineering students. This includes the following. We can see that the first one is it's very important knowledge. Students should have to know the basic words, language, sentences, patterns, and styles of scientific English. They should also be able to read scientific English texts and figure out how they are put together and what they say. And the second one is ability. It is quite important, right? So students should be able to read, write, and translate effectively in scientific English. They should also be able to find, process, and share scientific and technological knowledge, and they should be able to think about the quality and value of scientific English books. And number three, literacy. Students should want to know and learn scientific English and be able to do so on their own. They should also be able to understand and respect the different aspects of scientific and technological culture. And number four, number four is a step two. Step two is plan tasks for learning. There are many types of learning tasks in the course that help students reach their goals, such as number one, reading. The teacher chooses some current and representative scientific and technological English texts that cover the range of scientific and technological fields and topics. The goal was to help students learn more about science and technology through reading and to improve their scientific and technological English reading skills and strategy. And number two is writing. To improve students' scientific English writing skills, the teacher set some writing assignments in scientific English. The students had to write different kinds of scientific English text for different reasons and events like obstacle, report, papers, assume, and more. And number three is translation. The translation for English learning is very important, but it is very useful for us. When you meet some foreigner, you have to to do a translation to do a research because our language is Chinese and in Malaysia they have Malay language and the other country have many languages. So the translation it is very important. So for homework, the teacher gave the students some scientific and technical English translation tasks. They had to translate between Chinese and English, pay attention to how accurate, smooth, and standardized scientific and technical English is, and use their scientific and technical English translation skills and methods. And number four is discussion. Discussion can help the students by themselves to discuss anything together with the members. So the teacher set up some scientific and technological English discussions activities where students had to talk and argue in English about certain scientific and technological topics or issues like the 5G or iPhone or another advanced technology. The goal was to improve the students' scientific and technological English speaking and expression skills, as well as their scientific and technological thinking and vision. And step three, choose the way of measurement. The course uses a variety of assessment methods, such as daily grades, middle term exam, final exam, and course papers to get the full picture of the students' scientific English literacy, knowledge, and skills, to encourage students to evaluate and improve themselves, and to raise the quality and effectiveness of teaching. The facts for review are listed below. We can see that the first one is daily life scores, which make up 30% of the total grade, mostly like at things like success in class, homework completion, and so on. And number two, the middle term exam is worth 20% of the total grade and mostly check how well students can read scientific and technical English. It checks their vocabulary, language understanding, analyze, and other skills. And number three is final exam. It is very important for all the students, just like the Peking University students. So we can say that the final exam is worth 30% of the total grade and mostly check how we students can write and translate scientific and technical English, looking at things like content, organization, styles, correctness, and so on. And the number four, course paper. This was 20% of the total grade and mostly check how well students can use scientific English in all areas, such as choosing subjects, reading, writing, cutting sources, and so on. And then The step 4 include real-world uses. This course combines learning scientific English with real-world applications through hands-on activities, reading outside of the class, online resources, literatures, and more. It helps students become more creativity and useful in their scientific learning English and build a strong base for their future professional growth and learning. Okay, this is the last part, which is achievement and improvement. After implementing outcome based on curriculum design, Duke University's undergraduate education has achieved a series of achievements and improvements. We can see that especially in the 5 aspects. And number one, the achievement and improvement is develop students' overall quality and basic skills, boost their learning interest and effectiveness, and encourage them to take the initiative to learn on their own and be creativity. And number two, make the course structure and content better by removing unnecessary repetition and adding new challenge material. Also make the course more logical and organized. And then the number 3 achievement improvement, make the link between practical education stronger. Raise the amount and quality of practical training, give students more opportunities to practice and boost their practical skills and levels. And number 4 is make it easier for students who are really good at school to get great degrees and honors programs. Also train a group of intellectual stars who can complete and see things globally. And last one is implement the curriculum teaching change and use a variety of evaluation methods to get a full picture of how well students are learning, encourage them to evaluate and improve themselves, and raise the quality and impact of learning. Okay, this is my part. Let my partner to introduce the next part. Thank you for your patience listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Li Xinyi. It's my turn. First of all, let me briefly introduce what academic-centered curriculum design is. Academic-centered curriculum design is an approach to designing educational courses that are focused on developing courses that prioritize a deep understanding of academic content within a specific subjected area, and it aims to provide students with a solid foundation in a specific subjective area while developing critical thinking and analysis. It mainly emphasizes a thorough understanding of academic content, sequential learning, skill development, and application of knowledge, and emphasizes assessment to measure students' understanding and proficiency in subjects. Then I will talk the combination of result-based courses and academic-centered design. Let me take the Industrial Revolution as an example. You can look at the table. In terms of learning outcomes and mastery, OBC ensures that students master the specific learning outcomes related to the Industrial Revolution. The ACD ensures that the content is academically rigorous and provides a comprehensive understanding of history events. In terms of assessment and critical thinking, OBC guides assessments to measure specific outcomes. The ACD ensures that assessments go beyond memory, assessing students' critical thinking ability, analysis, history evidence, and constructing thoughtful arguments. In terms of practical application and interdisciplinary connections, OBE encourage practical application. The ACD ensures that these applications are academic-based, enabling students to link historical knowledge to contemporary issues and to explore interdisciplinary perspectives. By combining results-based courses and academic-focused design, in this history course, students can not only acquire specific learning outcomes related to the Industrial Revolution, but also develop critical thinking skills, have a nuanced understanding of historical events, and see the relevance of history to the present day. This approach creates a comprehensive learning experience that goes beyond memory and facilitates deep engagement in the concept of history. Combining a results-based curriculum with an academic-focused design provides multiple benefits that can enhance the overall educational experience of students and educators. Here are some of the key strengths. The first one is clear learning objectives. The OBC specifies the results to be achieved, and the ACD ensures that these goals have academic significance. This clarifies benefits both educators, teaching plans, and understanding students' expectation of them. The academic rigor means that the ACD contributes to the academic rigors of the course by focusing on a deep understanding of the topic. It ensures that students not only remember the information, but also explore the concepts more deeply. These steps enhance the critical thinking and analytical capabilities. Evaluation and adjustment means that OBC ensures that the assessment is directly aligned with the defined learning objectives. This consistency is essential for accurately measuring students' progress and understanding. The ACD complements this by ensuring that assessments go beyond rote learning and assess students' ability to think critically and apply knowledge. And next is continuous improvement. OBC involves continuous evaluation and improvement based on data. The ACD ensures that This improvement process is guided by academic standards and evidence of effective teaching strategy. This combination creates a dynamic and responsive curriculum. The last one is interdisciplinary connections. The OBC may include disciplinary components, and the ACD ensures that these connections are academically sound. This interdisciplinary approach enhances students' ability to understand the broader context of the topic and promotes a more comprehensive understanding. In conclusion, the benefits of combining OBC and ACD are multifaceted and help to provide a more effective, meaningful, and student-centered educational experience. This integrated approach is designed to meet the different needs of learners, providing not only their knowledge but also the skills and the ways of thinking needed to succeed in a variety of situations. That's all of my part. Let my friend summarize the final part.
Very good afternoon and good evening, dear friends. Thanks for my group members' comprehensive sharing and hope you all could get the whole picture of OBC. And as the last presenter in our group, I will share with you the summary part as well as the benefits and challenges of OBC. OBC is a comprehensive approach to organizing and operating a curriculum that is focused on and defined by successful demonstration of learning sought from each learner. The term clearly means focusing and organizing everything in an education system around what is essential for all learners to be able to do successfully at the end of their learning experiences. In contrast with conventional approach to teaching and learning, the OBC model focuses more on mapping, measuring, and accomplishing predetermined educational objectives. The educational objectives are not confined to academics alone, but also include other aspects like problem diagnosis and resolution, capability to simplify complex instructional techniques, or lifelong education. OBC ultimately implies emerging with a vivid idea of what is important for learners to be able to do, thereafter developing the programs for learning, implementing it, and assessing the learner on a continuous basis to ensure that learning has ultimately taken place. So here I quote, "The outcome-based approach to education requires developing a clear set of outcomes organized into a system of subjects and establishing conditions and opportunities within the system to enable and encourage learners to achieve these outcomes." So these are the whole picture of OBC that presented by my group members. Now let's have a quick look at the advantages of OBC. Study says that OBC results in increased student and teacher self-esteem, higher academic success for more students, decreased dropouts, and several other benefits. Outcome-based education framework is beneficial to all stakeholders of an educational institution as it follows the following ground principles. First one is transparency and clarity. This is one of the biggest strengths of outcome-based education because it makes it clear about the outcomes and expectations of the course. It creates transparency for both sides. The students know what to expect from a course, and the teachers know what to deliver or demonstrate through the course structure. This allows them to choose the right content and learning methods. Clarity of goals further brings greater clarity in designing the approach to the outcomes. Also, OBC allows for the development of specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound learning outcomes, which could be called SMART, as what we have learned before. This makes it easier to assess and evaluate student performance. Next, flexibility. With a clear sense of what needs to be accomplished, instructors will be able to structure their lessons around the students' needs. OBC does not specify a specific method for instruction, leaving instructors free to teach their students using any method. Instructor will also be able to recognize diversity among the students by using various teaching and assessment techniques during their class. So OBC is meant to be a student-centered learning model. Teachers are meant to guide and help the students understand the material in any way. And about the comparison, OBC provides an opportunity for comparison across institutions. On an institution level, institutions can compare themselves by checking to see what outcomes they have in common and find places where they may need improvement based on the achievement of outcomes at other institutions. The institutions can compare outcomes to determine what credits to award the student. And also, a potential employer can look at the student records to determine what outcomes they have achieved, to determine whether the potential employee has the necessary skills for the job. The student also can analyze themselves against the job requirements and work on enhancing their skills. Graduates will be more relevant to industry and other stakeholders, and we could produce more well-rounded, developed graduates. Besides, about continuous improvement, we can see from the picture of the process graph on the former slide that OBC encourages continuous evaluation and improvement of the curriculum. Feedback from assessments and student performance can help educators refine and enhance the curriculum over time. However, OBC sure has its limits and challenges. So first, here I quote from the published paper, Some Limitation of Outcome-Based Education. The author said, OBE may be highly suitable for teaching technical writing skills, but when teaching arts or English literature, those kind of subjects does not take the form of a step-by-step progression towards outcome. So if our aim is to get pupils to use knowledge creatively, then it would be unreasonable to try to define specific behaviors that will result from education. She asked that, how can I, as a teacher of English literature, define what a student will have as the outcome from reading Paradise Lost? Also, she says that this minimizes education, teaching, and learning, two forms of human engineering, which view education as an instrumental means to specific ends. Then I would like to share with you a comic picture and we can see that the teacher said, I've taught each of you to learn at your own pace in your own personal style, and I've set goals for each of you individually to help you reach your own unique potential. This sounds really nice, right? Like a learner-centered approach. But he continued to say that the results will be measured with a standard test. Well, now this seems a little bit conflicted by itself. So the challenges would be first, assessment difficulties and overemphasis on quantifiable outcomes. Designing and implementing effective assessments to measure complex outcomes can be challenging, and there is a risk of overemphasizing easily quantifiable outcomes at the expense of the soft skills like critical thinking and creativity, which may be equally important. Also, the interpretation or definition misunderstanding. The definition of the outcomes decided upon are very subject to interpretation by those who implement them. By outlining specific outcomes, a holistic approach to learning may be lost. Also, developing a well-structured OBC can be very time-consuming. It requires careful consideration of learning outcomes, assessments, and learning activities, which can be a resource-intensive process. The third one is standardization concerns. Critics argue that OBC may lead to standardization, where creativity and unique teaching approaches are sacrificed for the sake of meeting predefined outcomes. This can limit the diversity of educational experiences. The last one is maintain quality of education or not. Milan in 1990 states the educational planners and curriculum designers owe the responsibility of providing conducive learning atmosphere and settings, ensuring perfect, consistent, and valid evaluation and assessment procedures so that the quality of education does not suffer and students are well prepared for life after schooling or for higher education. So, in conclusion, the adoption of an outcome-based curriculum marks a transformative shift in education, emphasizing clarity, relevance, and continuous improvement. The benefits showcase the potential for positive impact, but we still must acknowledge the challenges. Overcoming these challenges demands a concerted effort, a commitment to professional development, and an openness to feedback. Education is not the static entity, it evolves, adapts, and shapes the future. So, as we embrace outcome-based curriculum, let us remember that it's not just a set of principles, but a commitment to the success of our students. It's about equipping them not just with knowledge, but with the skills, attitudes, and adaptability needed for an ever-changing world. In the words of Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Outcome-based curriculum is our tool to empower the students, and in doing so, we contribute to shaping a future where knowledge meets the demands of this dynamic world. So this is pretty much all of our presentation, and let us continue this journey towards a more effective, relevant, and student-centered education system. Thank you for your time and your attention. So if you have any questions, just leave it as comments and we'll discuss together. Thank you for your time.